vocals. Or if you select this one over here, then you will be EQing the entire mix. Now, here's the way I tend to look at it. If you're doing a ton of EQing over here on the master, then you probably haven't done a good job in terms of mixing everything else together. You really, once you get to EQing the master bus, then it should be very, very basic tweaks. Maybe 1, 2, maybe 3 dB absolutely max. Because when you think about it, just the faders here adjust everything about EQ. If the bass track here, if you pump that up, then that's going to add a lot of low-end content over to the master. So do you kind of follow that workflow? Start out at the individual track, then any subgroups, and then if you have to, you can go over to the master bus right there. Now in this example, I'm singing all of these vocals. I think there's a lead vocal, then a double on that, and then 3-part harmony that are doubled as well. So seeing it's all me and it's all the same microphone, I would have no problems going through and either bring up a preset and tweaking that and copying that across to each of those, or else you could do this something over here in the background vocal group, because it's the same guy singing all the way through there. If you had different vocalists, then I would definitely go through there and EQ each person differently. Now there's a caveat to what I said before about them all being my vocal. My vocal will change a lot, especially in these higher registers. If there's a 3-part, maybe this is a 3rd and a 5th and an octave or something like that. Then once you get up there, you will the vocal content will be a lot different in these high background vocals than it will be in these low background vocals. And certainly if you have male and female across your background vocalists, I would definitely EQ those guys separately. But if you're in a pinch, you could take that out there and just do all of your EQing over here and your background vocal group. Like I said, that wouldn't be my first choice, but if I had to do something pretty quickly, I would do that. And then certainly over here, if you're just doing a ton of EQ over there, it's probably not a good idea. You should be going back and working with just your balances, maybe also some compression if some various tracks are popping through. We'll learn how to do all of that stuff in a second, but this is just kind of a good primer to how EQs get placed or routed within your mixer. There are other things like dynamic EQ, and also, DSs are an interesting type of effect, because they're kind of half EQ and half compressor. There's actually let me see if I've got if I get a lead vocal here. Plug in, that would be dynamics and a de-esser. Great. Okay, so this is more in line to compression. It's actually a frequency adjustable, frequency dependent or frequency specific compressor. So if you want to learn a lot about compressors, look into the masterclass in compressors. So now that we're familiar with all of those tools available, let's actually see how these tools are used in action in both individual source channels and also entire mixes.